Good afternoon. We are in beautiful Lheidli in the Exploration Place in beautiful Lheidli territory. Partnerships, especially with places like Exploration Place that hold a lot of our history, is extremely important, and just other partnerships within the territory, city, regional district, school districts, many things that you're probably going to talk about today. Well, the biggest piece for me, obviously, within the school district, if many of you don't know, we have been at odds in certain times, obviously with the trustees and at senior administration within districts, but it's finding a way to work through these pieces to ensure the betterment of the kids. And in the end, that's what it's about. For myself, I know we deserve a say, and I have been fighting for a piece on the, a position on the board of trustees, and also even within, say, colleges and universities, to be a piece of the Senate, to be a piece of the, the boards that they hold, to ensure that our First Nations kids are looked after all throughout the K-12 to post-secondary. From a leadership perspective, First Nations, to have a spot on these boards, it ensures to always have that say, within the territory of the past, the present, and what the First Nation sees moving forward, especially to make sure that, like I said, the kids or adults after, in post-secondary are always looked after and always have that background knowledge of the territory. When it comes to, changing of leadership, it kind of comes with the times and the styles. So myself, I'm a very young chief, and you'll notice that a lot within BC, because you have to adapt and you have to move forward in a very progressive way, especially with First Nations, because I feel we're making up for a lot of lost time. So I want to get us to a level that I believe we're at the same level as everybody else, and this is how it should be. So the changing of leadership, in my opinion, has always been to realize that you're on a First Nations territory, and to also realize that they deserve a say, and to actually not fight it, just kind of adapt to it and work together to make sure, because in the end, this isn't a fight against, classes or different types of peoples or anything else. This is a fight for the kids, and it's making sure that our grad rates are always up, and it's to make sure that the kids are always growing up smart and strong so they can be the future leaders. Well, for myself right now, I know UNDRIP coming in, and I know with a lot of the First Nations rising up, and people are taking notice. So it's, for the First Nations kids, there hasn't been that proudness that should be there. So when you're actually involving a lot of the local history and everything within the teachings, it gives these people, it gives these kids that proudness, and they want to learn more, and every other kid should learn more about the territories they're on. There's a lot of rich history here. We shouldn't be learning about history from half a world away when the history is already right in your own territory. And it actually gives that proudness to everybody in there, and just knowing that knowledge and that history of the area, and people want to learn more. So that's why I'm fighting for this always. Well, there's the needs of Indigenous students, but there's the needs of all students. And within the territory, historically, we looked after everybody within the territory. So from the principal standpoint or for the teacher standpoint, it's just identifying, the kids that are in need. And I know sometimes they're overtaxed and overwhelmed, but there's certain pieces we can do to not do the teaching that was, say, taught in 1970 or 1980 or 1990. It's the piece of being adaptive and being very interactive to ensure the kids are actually, they're vested and they're interested. And I know that's hard nowadays, especially with technology and everything else. I don't know if there's apps or things like that we can use. Things have changed a lot since I was in school, but it's getting the kids vested interest and realizing that a lot of the kids are different. Like a lot of First Nations kids are very quiet and very introverted, and some are very extroverted, but the majority I've seen are very introverted. We have a lot of trauma, a lot of history that can be taught as well. But it's just realizing, you don't want to pull them out of the comfort zone too quickly. You got to just kind of be very nurturing as well. Right now, First Nations are rising up, and they are taking more of a interest because they can within school districts that they, reside in their territories. So it's just being very open that things will be changing, and just to work with it. And if you're going to take one thing away from everything, we're all in it for the kids. So let's just work together to make that happen. Snachalia, Musi Cho. Very big thanks to everybody who's participating in today's event.